Hello, everybody. It's Bubba Rob. How's it going? Good, I hope. Thumbs up. Can't give you two thumbs up because the other thumb's holding my phone. Anyways, I try to be funny. But, anyways, what's on my mind today? Actually, what I'd like to talk about today is actual resentment. And not necessarily if it's how I deal with it. I can talk about what the result of it is, because life is an ongoing process of learning, and I change. I've changed quite a bit on how I deal with things that upset me, that make me resentful, and the most important part of it is, again, going to that whole mindful route. Using stoicism and learning to let go as much as I can. The one thing I do know, if in life, if you're in a relationship, or it doesn't even have to be a marriage, it can just be a friendship or casual acquaintance or something like that, and something happens and upsets you, and you don't communicate about it, and you continue to allow that other person to behave that way, it builds up. Then you become quite resentful, and it can turn to hate, right? One small annoyance can fester and basically, turn into a boil. Eventually, at some point, any boil has to pop, right? I know I'm not really talking in the same terms as a lot of these YouTube psychologists or psychiatrists or therapists, because I'm far from that. I'm just Robbie. That's about it. But what I've learned, especially lately with the meditation, is if I got somewhere I can go where I can release those thoughts, or release my mind spinning on a subject that upsets me, it's a lot easier for me to let go of what it is that's upset me. It doesn't mean I forget about it. It just means I'm able to let go of it. So, that's a difference, when you can forgive and not forget. You should, if you're able to disassociate those two, a lot better you would be, because, if, say, your issue is you've established a boundary, right? You communicate with somebody and say, your behavior or what you do on this subject isn't appropriate, right? It's like if somebody's gaslighting you and needling you, and you just say, just put a flippin' stop to that, right? But if they continue to do it, and you've communicated it, and they continue to do it, you have to find some way to let go and move on. To me, I think you need to move on, but some people may not. But, if somebody has a propensity for gaslighting you, it's just not going to stop, right? It just continues. And you can't put it in your hip pocket and not deal with it, because that's going to bother you even more. It's going to build up. And this is where the resentment comes in, right? It's just what happens. It's part of life, right? So what do we do or what do I do, is I'll tell you what I do lately, which, people may or may not agree with, but it's one of the things that the Stoics would do. If I'm saying entering into a relationship with somebody, whether it's personal or business, I find if I'm treating them with kindness as much as I possibly can, that in turn actually gives them a lot of rope. The quickest way to find out what somebody is about is if you give them enough rope. If somebody's narcissistic, they gaslight, they haven't dealt with their own stuff, by you just being kind, it's all going to come out very quick. And you can kind of let go of it quick. You can make your decision. It's like, okay, am I going to continue with this relationship with this person, no matter what type of relationship it is? Like, it's really your choice. So I find myself is when something like that happens and I learn what they're about very quickly, especially if they're selfish, then I just, not rude about it, but I just kind of disappear. I might, talk to them a couple times, how are you doing, or something like that. But just politely kind of walk away. Don't even get into it with them. You don't even really owe them a reason or anything like that. It's kind of life. It's like people come and they go, they hopping on and off that train. And, set yourself up with some personal success in your relationships, right? Just be kind. Be mindful. Absorb things. Pay attention to what they're doing, what they're saying. If things are starting to bother you, you can communicate with them in a polite manner. You don't find this is acceptable. And, if they have an open discussion with you and you're able to rectify it, then maybe that's a relationship that you can save. But if they choose not to speak to you, or they retreat and then they continue with it, just don't let it go, because it's going to grind on you, and that relationship is going to fail, right? You're better off just to cut things off quickly. When you enter into things like, say, for instance, you're lonely and you feel like you need something in your life. Well, for you to have something of any quality in your life, you need to learn how to live alone and not get lonely first. Then, something good hopefully will come your way. Okay? I hope this all makes sense. I mean, I don't write scripts or anything like that, but I just feel it's part of me and what I'm going through in life, that I hope people do better and just use some common sense in how you deal with life situations and have a better life. Put the good out, okay? Remember, the most important thing to be a good Stoic, good person, Christian, biker, musician, whatever your is just to be kind. It's important to be kind to yourself. And don't take any wood nickels out there, okay? Love y'all. Have a good day. Bye-bye.